Welcome to the Nerd Party. Space, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Jessica Nunn.
And I'm her husband and co-host, Philip Gilfus. And Jessica's wearing the merch.
I am. I'm wearing my Welcome to Time and Space, a Doctor Who podcast shirt.
That's right. Available only at Redbubble.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still available. But yes, the Nerd Party does have a Redbubble store if it's still up. But anyway, today we're going to be talking, I don't know, it might be a short talk, but we're going to be talking about some Doctor Who adjacent things.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. Quit finishing my sandwiches.
So, of course, no new Doctor Who, and we don't know when there's going to be any new Doctor Who. But hopefully sometime this year, probably the fall, we hope. So, but until then...
we're going to find other ways to entertain you.
Exactly. And that's to talk about another series starring an actor who played the Doctor, David Tennant, who, of course, has done many, many things. But perhaps a little breakout piece that he did during the quarantine was Staged.
Yes.
Now we're just going to be talking about Series 1, because that's all we've seen. We look forward to watching Series 2. Here in America, it's on Hulu, which we've recently gotten access to.
Yes, we have.
Yes. But of course, Staged, starring, I don't know what order to put it in.
I know. What's the billing? Let's start with Georgia Tennant.
Exactly. But of course, David Tennant with Michael Sheen.
Or
Michael Sheen starring David Tennant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard both.
Yeah.
Also starring their respective wives, Georgia Tennant and Anna Lundberg. And also starring Simon Evans and Lucy Eaton, real life brother and sister, who also portray brother and sister. And for those who haven't seen it, we're going to talk all about and spoil everything, but you should watch it if you haven't. And I think the premise is interesting for one, and I just learned this just doing the research like an hour ago. Simon, who plays the director of the play, so-called play, literally directed and wrote Staged.
Oh, I think I knew that.
Yeah, and so the meta stuff that goes on throughout all this, I think, is very funny.
Yes. Well, I think the whole thing of playing ourselves-ish, which they're all doing. Simon Evans and Lucy Eaton play brother and sister. They are brother and sister. And yeah, whether that was, I mean, of course, because the entire show was built around this quarantine, you get these are the people that we can quarantine with. And so they're the ones that are going to be in the show.
And of course, I guess, I don't know if they have a previous relationship, but of course, David and Michael very obviously got to know each other well in Good Omens.
Yes.
And so that was very, I don't know, people who've seen it, I've seen it, and we enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they definitely had I don't know, for lack of a better word, and this probably make it a stupid way to call it, but their bromance seemed very, obvious, or at least I think the fans have reacted to those characters.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of fan fiction, I think. I haven't looked at any of it, but I know it's there.
Sure. So
add in Benedict Cumberbatch at the end.
There you go.
These things happen.
So the premise, for those who don't know, is that, as Jessica was saying, that David and Michael David is approached to get ready for a play and rehearse the play while there's quarantine going on. Just do it over Zoom. I don't know, actually they say the word Zoom, but anyway, whatever they use. And that's sort of the premise. We're just going to rehearse the show, and that way when the theaters open up, boom, we're ready. We'll be the first out of the gate. And of course, Michael Sheen is brought in as his second, though not necessarily the first second. And do you know the actual play they're doing?
Vaguely. 6 Characters in Search of an Author by Luigi Pirandello. I am vaguely familiar with it.
Okay.
Yes. And
tell me your vagueness.
It does what it says on the tin.
There's 2 actors?
No, I think that there are ultimately 6 actors.
Oh, okay.
And they're, strangely enough, searching for an author.
Oh, okay.
6 characters, rather.
But I mean, was that the 2 people would play them all, or would you have 6 people?
No, I think you have 6 actors.
Oh, okay. So is it
playing
odd
the
that you
6
just
characters.
have the 2, I guess?
Well, I think that the idea is that they are rehearsing bits of it.
Okay. But they never actually get to.
Yeah.
They read it once, I think.
Maybe. Yeah, I think the irony, of course, is the title rather than the gist of the play. Otherwise, you go with Godot, don't you?
Okay.
Yeah.
How many solid 2-handers are there?
I mean, there's Waiting for Godot. I mean, there are loads, obviously, but that's always a good standby that everybody recognizes, and
Well, because I think the part of in the show, Simon is approached about why, I don't know if it was his sister or who he's talking to. It's not one of the the David or Michael or otherwise. But, like, he's like, that was the only play I'd heard of. That's why I chose it. Like, what are you trying to say of this piece? That's the only one I knew,
Bless.
Yeah. So, I don't know how to attack this, really. But, so, however you want to do it. So, I don't know. Let's go with the Tennants. What do you think of David and Georgia and their slightly invisible children?
Their slightly invisible children. Yeah, I think it's fun. Again, I love the idea of playing yourself adjacent.
Right.
It's such an interesting premise, and then to also bring in the partners doubles that, and so it's just such a fun concept that I just really love, and I think they do a great job with it.
I mean, as far as the writing, it does make me wonder how they do the characterizations, because Georgia is terrific, but she's not tropey, but I suppose tropey. The long-suffering wife is her character mode for this portion of the show.
Whether it's real or not.
Exactly.
And, let's be honest. They've both been stuck in a house for a really long time.
Homeschooling or attempting to.
Yes, all of the children.
Yeah, all their many children.
Yes.
And so, what do you think of the character David Tennant, as he's a slightly neurotic?
Yes, yeah, you do get that sort of skinny energy, the neuroses and the...
I forget the things he's been doing of reading out loud or sorting things or I don't know, whatever. I forget what it is that he's done that George is annoyed at, but that he does to quiet himself. He's screaming in the backyard.
Oh, yes.
The neighbors are complaining.
Gosh, yeah, that was funny. Yeah. He talked about doing something in his head.
Oh, yeah, counter. I forget.
Some sort of counting in his head. Yeah.
Mass or something. I can't remember. But yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
A lot of fun.
Well, what do you think? Because I keep trying to think of how much Michael Sheen I've seen. I remember him, of course, we watched Frost Nixon.
Yes.
At least the movie.
Which he was stunning in.
Was it The Queen? I'm trying to remember the one where he played Tony Blair. I don't know if you saw that movie. It's the one dealing with when Princess Diana died, and he's sort of having to coax the Queen to the public. Which, when I first watched it, and again, because, don't pay attention to necessarily what happened in the UK, especially during that time, because I was quite young. Not that young, but younger. Was that it's actually the way, and this may have been real life, Blair is very pro-monarchy. The way Michael Sheen plays the character, the way it's written. And so it's not like, the paintbrush is that, the Queen retreated during Diana's death and didn't say anything, and the public turned against her. And then eventually she came back and all was forgiven. But Blair sort of kind of hand-holding as Michael Sheen plays her, the Queen. I'm blanking on who played her, but it's obviously one of the ones you would think that played her.
Yeah, I was just
Mirren?
I was thinking Helen Mirren.
Yeah, don't quote me, but yes.
I think so.
But anyway, that's so, and I know that's his milieu is playing historical or real life characters for the most part. I don't know his whole CV off the top of my head.
I saw him on most recently, other than Good Omens, in The Good Fight.
Okay.
So yeah, the spinoff from The Good Wife.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of soap opera there, and he was a very hedonistic lawyer.
They had some British actors in that because the
Yeah.
I'm forgetting
whose name completely
it was
escapes
on
me.
David Tennant Does a Podcast.
Yep.
But anyway, okay. Well, what do you think of Michael and Anna?
Yeah, I really like...
Or Anna, if I'm saying that.
And it lends itself, Michael has quarantine hair.
Yes. That's just the way he looks now.
And sort of lends itself to the sort of manic energy that
Howard
he's got
Hughes-esque.
going on. Yeah, a little bit. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. And the two of them, even when they're not in the same room, because of course they never are in this, are just so much fun.
Because I think the stereotype when building this would be like, oh, they're frenemies, but they're not. I mean, I think going into that, that's what I thought. They would just be like sniping at each other. And while they do, it's more of a friendship. I mean, that's the foundation. And so they're sort of suffering together. They're not necessarily against each other, until...
There is a sniping that happens. It's not always at each other. It's at each other adjacent.
Yeah. Well, the
apparently the word we're going to use all the time.
Until conflicts happen. But, like, the sniping they do is very improv. Like, the sniping is yes-anding. Like, it's, but they play along with each other. And so, like, what if, well, what about this? And, well, I do this. And, well, you also do that, and they just sort of trade the back and forth where they're not necessarily being mean at each other. They're just playing with each other as friends would do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
And then what did you think of No Judgment? Michael's wife. I mean, she does very good. Well,
partner? Are they married?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think that. I mean, they might be.
I mean, shield. I mean, anyway. But anyway.
All right, don't be judgy. Don't be judgy.
Well, they had a new child in this one.
Yep, they have a young child. Yeah, I mean, I think she's not on there quite as much.
Right,
but
of the four. Yeah.
Of the four, but she gets a little bit of a heavier role in terms of, like, the neighbor.
Oh, yes.
And things like that, yeah. And so that's... And that's one of the things that I think's delightful about this, is that you do have this improv-y feel of just hanging out on the computers, but there are also storylines happening that feel like they came from the improv. Because Michael Sheen is putting his wine bottles in the neighbor's...
Yes. Recycling.
Because he doesn't want the recycling people to think he's a lush.
Right.
And
he gets caught.
And he gets caught, yes. And so he's sniping about his neighbor, and all of that feels like improv.
Right.
And then the storyline of, people haven't been able to get in touch with the neighbor, and then the ambulance is there, and so it then goes into kind of a side story that I think is just really lovely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it does make me wonder. I would think, and I don't know, I would think it's probably more written than we think it is, because that's the sign probably of good acting, that it looks improvised, but it's not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of two-handers,
right.
This is not at all dissimilar to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Okay. I've seen only the movie, and I only vaguely recall it. I remember not liking it at the time, but you got to go back. It's Tom Stoppard. You always want to see Tom Stoppard. But the idea being, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are these two characters who have this whole play whilst Hamlet's going on in the background. And so that's sometimes a little bit what this feels like. You've got these two guys sitting in a room or two rooms talking on the computer while the world goes around and the neighbor falls ill and things like that all of that stuff is happening in the background. And then bringing it a little bit to Simon and Lucy, I think an interesting part, and I don't know whether, I like it, but some people might not, is that you have the Lucy storyline, such as it is, that apparently, I guess, she has a boyfriend in Italy. I can't remember which country.
Or France, yeah. It's one of those two.
And it's sort of implied that they had some falling out, or that she left, because Simon thought the house was empty because she was with her boyfriend in wherever country.
Because Simon is staying at her house in the country.
Right.
He's left London to stay in her house because he thought it would be empty.
And also, I think it might be broken. Anyway. And so... But she comes, and so, but the whole relationship, we don't actually get any details I mean, it's sort of just thrown every now and then, like, oh, are you going back? Or she's on the phone with him, or, you know, and so there's not really any, and not in a bad way, there's not really depth to that story. I mean, like, we don't get the details, but I think that's very background, but it's just enough to you just throw a little bit out there just to.
Yeah. And again, feeling like there's so much action around them that we haven't seen or that we don't get to see. And that's part of the story. That, you know, that lack of information on our parts is part of what they want to be.
And then what do you think of the Simon, the director, the long-suffering director, whose actors will perform? And...
Yeah, no, I love it. I think it's very funny. He's very funny with them. I think he certainly holds his own, but is also very prepared to step back and let them shine. And he plays the single straight man to their to
chaos.
Wackiness. Yeah.
And there's a part there where he was just reading the whole play with them.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of sort of, I mean, this, you know, as we go back to normal, as they say, quote unquote, because I think a challenge, I mean, this is obvious, and I'm stating the obvious, was that, you know, when there was the quarantine, hopefully that's the only one there is, the challenge of doing theater or drama or television in this case. But, you know, very similar, I suppose. You know, going to the Zoom drama and whether that's real or, you know, temporary or how it works or doesn't work. I mean, because we didn't see any Zoom productions because I did nothing.
We saw a comedy show.
We did. That's true. You're right. But we didn't actually see, like, you know, a Zoom play or something.
Yeah,
and they were out there, but just nothing.
Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly honest, in this quarantine, I haven't wanted to see. For me, I haven't wanted to see stuff that reminds me of what I'm sitting in the middle of. We did watch Ratatouille.
Well, that's true. You're right, and that was a unique to do. Yeah, Ratatouille the musical. You have to. Yeah, because Ratatouille is an actual movie.
Right. Yeah.
The TikTok musical.
That all of that said, the fact that I didn't want to watch Zoom plays because I didn't want to be stuck in that. I think that something like this, like the Ratatouille musical, the quarantine has given us the opportunity to try new things, whether or not they stay or, you know, or go once this is done. There's been a lot of experimentation, and that's a lot of fun. You know, the whole that circulated at the beginning and I think was finally squashed to death, kicking and screaming, thing of, you know, well, Shakespeare wrote King Lear during the plague quarantines. And, you know, I think enough creatives gave that 2 fingers right away. But that there is a certain creativity that is born, and it doesn't have to be born, and it's not born by everybody, and that's okay too. But what interesting things can you do with it? And they've come up with something really interesting.
You know, Taylor Swift wrote 3 albums while in the
quarantine. Right. You, sir, are no Taylor Swift. Yeah, and you know, interesting things came out of that as well. You know, she pared it right down and maybe got to do some things that she's wanted to do for a while and didn't have the opportunity. You know, everybody is handling this in their own way. And if interesting things come out of it, like staged, like Taylor Swift albums, if that's what you're into, as opposed to staged or in conjunction with, then it's fun to see that happening.
And I liked how they, I mean, obviously you would want to do it or else you go crazy, but they do these sort of two boxes, with David and Michael usually, but not always. But then they go to sort of the scene. So you're like, they're in the Tennant garden, with David and Georgia or something like that. And so they sort of, you're not always stuck in the boxes.
Yes, yeah, that's true. There are bits of places where it does come out
like
to
Simon and Lucy
work.
in the house, usually.
And I'd be interested to know how they did that. Like if they set up cameras surely they don't have a cameraman.
Right.
But then, of course, watching the Bo Burnham comedy
Inside.
special, presumably he did all his camera work as well. And so it's clearly doable.
Yeah.
And you can do interesting things with it. And what fun. And that's not necessarily going to become the norm, but isn't it an interesting way to do things anyway?
Mm-hmm. Now we had some, I don't know, guest stars, a special way to say it. But anyway, some guest stars.
A couple of minor characters show up here and there.
Exactly. We had a friend who warned us, that this first character was going to come, not by name, but he was like, you'll want to see who the first choice was. And that, of course, was Samuel L. Jackson. So we get our one American represent.
Represent.
Yeah.
Yes. Who was such a ridiculous choice to play a character that then Michael Sheen allegedly is coming in to play. They're just such very different actors.
And one thing, and I don't know if this was purposeful, though probably. I mean, also, who can you get, I suppose? Who do you know? Who's on the Rolodex that will answer? But I don't know who among those knows Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes, we did play a little bit of 6 Degrees of Separation, trying to figure out how people were.
Or maybe they said during it, but I can't remember. But anyway, I think he introduces. It's kind of like when we talk about the West Wing sometimes in the Sorkin-esque language, that sometimes he'll, or John Wells, will bring in a character who doesn't necessarily speak that language, that kind of, but can still play in it. And I think Samuel Jackson kind of disrupts the language, whether it's just British, but even just, they're all kind of talking the same way, or, on the same page, but then you have this disruptive, loud, cussing American and yelling, and that sort of disrupts the players, and so I think that adds that special spice to it.
Yeah, yeah, he's a lot of fun. But yeah, still can't figure out.
Oh yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
And I feel like they may have said it during it because maybe he
Jackson.
said I worked with blah blah, and I couldn't catch it, but I forget.
Yeah,
so.
maybe we'll have to go back and watch it. And why hasn't he been on the podcast?
I know, that's right. It's a good question.
Maybe it's coming.
That's
maybe
right.
it's coming.
We get Adrian Lester of Stage.
Yes.
We subscribe to National Theater at Home. I think it's what it's called.
Yep,
Or Live,
yep.
or whatever it's called. I want to see his Othello.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, he's quite establishing himself pretty solidly right now in the British stage and screen. So, yeah, he was an interesting character to come into it.
Yeah, he was brought in to help Michael and David concentrate on the play at hand.
Yes.
And then he sort of got...
Yeah, which was a weird, because that was one that felt more character rather than actor. But I don't know enough about Adrian Lester. I don't know if he's done American stuff. Has he done?
I recognize him, but I can't tell. I don't know, even from Doctor Who for all I know, but I can't remember what I know him
Yeah,
from.
so maybe he has, but definitely more known on the British stage. So maybe British people can tell us why Adrian Lester is the hippy-dippy patchouli boy in this one.
Yeah, the dream about it. Anyway.
Yeah, it's fantastic, though. It's wonderful.
And then, of course, we get on the finale of Series 1, we get one more guest star when Michael and David are no longer wanting to do it and fighting the director and themselves. We bring in the big lady.
We bring in Dame Judi Dench.
Yes.
Who tells them all to get their shit together.
They said yes to it. And so
Suck it up. Do the part. Yeah. Yeah. She, and of course, she almost rivals Samuel L. Jackson for the casual vitriol that she is just dishing out. Suck it up, gentlemen. Oh, she's delightful.
Yes. Pull the Judy card.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Well, we will, I'm sure, watch series 2. Any final thoughts or thoughts? I mean, it was very award-winning. I staged. Something that definitely caught the British television public.
Yep, and they did a little bit for Red Nose Day.
Yeah, one of the charities.
One of the charity days, yeah. So that was very cool, where they were wearing Shakespeare costumes or something.
Yes.
Yeah, because we watched that before we watched staged, so now I'd almost like to go back and...
We had access to YouTube more than we had Hulu at that time.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, can't wait. Very excited. I assume that now that we've recorded, we can go watch season 2, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Now it's locked in.
Okay. Excellent.
Right. Well, with that, let's go into the TARDIS library.
Whoosh, 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 whoosh.
When you close your eyes,
I go to the library.
go to the library now.
Now we'll go even more adjacent.
Yep.
With Doctor Who, with our TARDIS library segment. We're not even going to be talking about someone who was even in Doctor Who.
Ever.
That's right. But he was at the Doctor Who set a few times in the 70s. And that's going to be Sean Pertwee.
Yes.
Son, of course, of the third Doctor himself, Sean Pertwee. Mm-hmm. I think we talked about Sean once before here.
Yeah.
With Gotham.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yep.
You're absolutely right. I'd forgotten about that.
But we're revisiting Mr. Pertwee with another role that he played. He played it more than once, but we just saw one depiction of it. Maybe we'll watch some more if you feel in the mood. And that is from the American show.
Ish.
Elementary.
Yes.
Airing on CBS here in America. But we're going to be talking about the episode Step 9, which premiered 26 September 2013. And I believe it was the Series 2 opener. And... this was the one where, it's very brief. You want to read the one-sentence synopsis?
Yes, please. Holmes and Watson travel to London to help track down an old mentor and investigate an unsolved mystery.
Now, I've never seen Elementary. This was my first time watching it.
Oh, was it? I have watched bits and pieces. I haven't watched... it was never something I watched in series, but I've seen some episodes.
So for folks who haven't seen it, the Elementary, if you may tell by the title, is basically the American Sherlock Holmes.
Modern day.
Yes.
Although...
so it's Sherlock, but...
yes, but it is set in America, but
Right.
Sherlock Holmes is not American.
Correct.
No.
He's not American. No, I know that. Sorry, you're throwing me off there. Yes.
So it's not an American Sherlock Holmes.
Right. Well, it's an American show.
Yes, it is an American show. Sherlock Holmes is not American.
Right. And so, we've seen Sherlock, the BBC version, of course. So I'd always assume, that was sort of the whatever. And then, CBS is going to be a procedural. Ugh, that's all they do over there.
Yeah.
But
I haven't seen the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes.
I saw the first one. That's nothing that I would write home about. Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that impression, but and John C. Reilly, is that right? As Watson.
Yeah. No, that's a different one.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking of Will Ferrell.
Oh, okay. So who's Watson?
Jude Law.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. So that was also had a lot of fanfic involved by the way they played it, apparently.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
But anyway, and so Sean Pertwee, if you know anything about Sherlock Holmes, plays one of the more prevalent characters in the literature, Lestrade. I don't know if his name's Gareth in actually the books, but anyway, Gareth Lestrade is who he plays, sort of one of the Scotland Yard head detectives that Sherlock Holmes often has to work with. And so in this version, Elementary, Holmes has, I guess, dealt with him when he lived in the UK.
They were very close.
Yes.
Worked together a lot. Sherlock solved the cases and Lestrade got the credit.
Yes. And that was apparently something that, I suppose they both enjoy. Holmes always investigating. But this is Step 9, I guess, refers to the steps of recovery. Because in this version of Sherlock Holmes, and again, this is my first time watching the series, so you may know better than me, but the series begins, I guess, with Holmes in recovery, and Watson is a nurse, is that correct?
Not really. Sort of I think again, I haven't watched a whole lot of it, but I think sort of specialist / sponsor kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So Lucy Liu, if we haven't said, portrays Watson, and Johnny Lee Miller plays Holmes. And so, but concentrating on Sean Pertwee, very interesting role, because in this sort of version here, he's gone down, as it were, because he couldn't prove a case that he thought was there. He thought he knew the killer, and ended up a little, am I making this up, like drunk and, losing himself a little bit? And
yeah, because he shows up at the funeral. And,
shooting guns. And,
yes, with a gun. And it all goes a little sideways. But yeah.
I thought it was interesting because for some reason, I don't know where I get it from, and maybe it's Gotham, but I always picture, because Sean... he plays it up a little bit sometimes, but he has this sort of, I don't know where he's from, but he can sort of play the rough voice. He can get gravelly, which I don't necessarily think is how he actually talks, but he can kind of play it up, and that sort of bruiser, and I can take care of myself.
Yeah. And also he did that in the, what was the Law and Order?
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, he's a little softer in that too, because I thought
a little softer, but still kind of the sideways guy,
right? And so, and this one, he's playing the Scotland Yard detective. You don't have two ways about it, I suppose. But it was just interesting to see that he's, vulnerable, if that's the right word, but character. Like he doesn't look like he could take care of himself, probably.
Yes, yeah. But again, that's a skill that his dad had as well, of this chameleon being able to slip into
characters,
variety of characters. Yeah, yeah.
So I think it's interesting because I'm sure he's played many parts. I just don't know enough that he's played. But he's certainly, maybe it's sort of like, I don't know, jobbing actor, for lack of a better word. Like in America, you'd be like the Law and Order guest star, and you'd be the guest star in Elementary, and you'd be the guest, and so. Yeah,
and I think we've talked about this before, that jobbing actor is
on television,
more of a thing in Britain.
I don't know what his theater chops, if any, are.
Yeah, I assume he has them. Again, British actors tend to have more theater chops. Not always, but tend to have the theater chops to go along with it.
Know him more from television, especially American television, but not necessarily all.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, this was filmed, obviously, in the UK, so I don't know if, that counts as a UK casting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Versus, being flown out to work on Gotham for, I don't know how many seasons he worked, 2 or 3. I forget how long that series went. But anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would like to watch a little more.
Yeah.
I find Johnny Lee Miller very watchable. Mm-hmm. And I'm not 100% sure why. I can't necessarily deconstruct.
What else have you, other than Frankenstein that we saw? What else have you seen him in?
I don't know that I've seen him in anything. But I've seen him in a few episodes of this. And it's never been something it's never been enough to make me go, ooh, I want to keep watching this and binge it or anything like that. But I do find him very watchable.
How did you... I didn't look at... Well, his name's right there. We also get this series introduces for this Elementary, Mycroft Holmes.
Yes.
Played by... it's a Welsh name. I'll say it wrong.
I think it's Rhys Evans.
Okay, sure.
Or something akin to that, so I apologize in advance.
And did you say you had recognized him?
Yes, he was in Notting Hill.
Okay.
Plays the crazy roommate of Hugh Grant. Is that right?
Yes. Who was in I know he was in Notting Hill.
Yeah. Is running around in his underpants, and, and Julia Roberts is there, and there's him in his underpants, that sort of thing. What else you got on your list?
Stuff that I would know, but I just don't remember him. Apparently he was in one of the Harry Potter films. I'm going really fast here, sorry. He was in The Amazing Spider-Man. I never saw those Spider-Mans, so...
No,
I'm going really fast here on the bottom there. And nothing is definitely throwing out here. We won't just stand here looking here. But anyway, the replacements. There it is. Notting Hill just played Spike.
Yes.
Okay. And then I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, look at there. He was in Dancing at Lunasa. I was in Dancing. We were not in it together.
But that was sort of an interesting, or gave something for Lucy to do, of course, to deal with that character.
And a nice, interesting introduction.
Yeah, and it seemed very close to the books, because, Sherlock is closest to the books, and Elementary, I suppose, is doing the same thing, just obviously with a different flavor. More of a American 45. I'm trying to 45-minute versus Sherlock, which goes however long they want to go every episode.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, Arthur Conan Doyle was writing a serial, a procedural.
Yes,
that's what I was saying. A crime procedural. So Elementary, in that sense, follows that quite well. That's we too often look at what we consider classical literature, like Arthur Conan Doyle, Charles Dickens, and forget that Charles Dickens was writing for the newspaper when he wrote A Christmas Carol. Shakespeare was essentially writing soap operas that he had to pound out once a week or something like that. It's great literature, but that does not detract from...
At the time, how it was.
Yes. Yeah.
Its contemporary presentation.
Yes.
Cool.
So, yeah, that's all I have to... I will step down off my soapbox now.
Oh, good. All right. Well, that's all we wanted to cover there. Short stuff we're trying to recapture with Doctor Who. We were... I don't even know how far we are. We'll say midway through our second series of the Fourth Doctor. So we'll be talking more about that once we finish.
And if anybody has any suggestions of Doctor Who adjacent stuff we must watch, let us know, because we're always looking.
That's true. What did we see a Matt Smith in a trailer for? Something. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that's. We didn't even talk about the zombie movie he was in. Did we talk about the zombie movie?
I think we did.
Okay.
Yeah. Him and his ex-girlfriend.
Yes.
Who's she with now? All right. Anyway, Lily. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
James.
Yes.
Wasn't
Lily
it so
James.
No, it wasn't that. But it was Matt Damon. Were you?
No, it wasn't Matt
American,
Damon.
wasn't
Yeah.
it?
I mean, she had a date with Chris Evans.
Oh, maybe that's what you were telling me about.
But then I've just recently seen her linked with somebody else, and it's not the Dominic West scandal, but I can't remember who I saw linked with her, but never mind.
That's all right. Well, that's as adjacent as you can get.
This is all the gossip I got today, guys. Sorry.
Well, until next time, continue to enjoy the Doctor's many adventures throughout time and space.
This is BBC Television.